Time for us to go over to Tobago to see what is happening there. We have joining us Renzel Dillon and Joseph Frederick. We are going to talk about Ideation Workshop. What is that all about? We're going to find out. Good morning.
Morning.
Hi, good morning.
How are you all this morning?
Fine, great.
So, Ideation Workshop, what is that all about?
Well, the Ideation Workshop, good morning and again. The Ideation Workshop is another attempt by Nerds International to ensure that we stimulate and build in the space in Tobago and Trinidad that understanding that we need to focus heavily on innovation. And one of the first aspects of ensuring that we can innovate is for us to be able to generate ideas. So Ideation Workshop, it was scheduled to take place today. However, we had some challenges, so we're going to be pushing it back to a later date. We're really happy to have Renzel Dillon with us as we look at what are some of the practices that he would have utilized at Colgate-Palmolive as an innovation manager to ensure that they were able to craft some unique products.
And before we get to that, when is the new date for this initiative?
Well, we have not as yet selected a date for the Innovation Workshop.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to go over to Renzel Dillon, who is the innovation manager at Colgate-Palmolive, to tell us, his role and some of his ideas.
Yeah. So thanks very much for the opportunity. So I've been working at Colgate for since 2001. And so one of the things that is really important is that the revenue stream of any company, especially the Fortune 500 companies, is primarily driven by the innovations that they come up with that will obviously have consumers purchasing the product that they want. And so Joseph invited me to kind of come and teach some students about how you kind of develop innovation. And so there's some principles that I would like to kind of talk to the students about. And I think just for your audience, one of the things that has to be really clear is that innovation can be a very structured environment, because people think of innovation as like just the aha moment. But actually innovation is more than the aha moment. It's about getting your idea, then you have to put it into practice. And then what is the most important is you have to be flexible and then actually change as you get feedback from the consumer when your product or your service actually goes into market. And so I think trying to explain this to kids, they'll be surprised as how much capacity they have to create innovation, because within a particular framework, anyone can innovate and anyone can be great at this.
And is it something that is for younger people, or anybody can come?
Well, in this particular case, Joseph, right, it's for younger people. So
what age group, Joseph?
We're looking at kids between the age of 12 to 18.
12 to 18. Why this age group?
So, at least for me, it turns out that, as you well know, kids are very curious and are very creative, right? And so what happens over time is, as we structure their learning environment and they get into work, you actually decrease your creativity and you decrease that curiosity over time. And so what happens is, if you can get kids at this particular age before they kind of transition to young adulthood, you're trying to teach them a skill set that will allow them to kind of keep it for the rest of their life. Having said that, you can teach people at any age this idea of curiosity and innovation. And it turns out that some people have a greater propensity than others, but anyone can learn it because the principles are really simple.
Yeah. And for you, Joseph, Nerds International, how often this project will happen, and is it something that has happened before?
Well, this is the first installment of it, but we are looking at working in the space here in Tobago to ensure that we assist young persons and Tobagonians at large in developing their skills in the field of innovation and generating ideas.
And is it something that you're going to work with schools as well? How is it going to roll out?
Well, given that the catchment area is persons between the ages of 12 to 18, a lot of those persons would be attached to schools within the Tobago space. And we have been working with the Division of Education, thanks to the Chief Secretary, for really partnering with us, working with us to ensure that a lot of the products that we have brought forward thus far, that these products are successful, and that the young people are able to capitalize on them.
Renzel, what is the ultimate goal for you being part of this project?
I guess the ultimate goal, actually, I think Joseph articulated really well when I was just chatting with him, right? So he talks about we tend to be consumers, right? So we tend to purchase products. We don't tend to create products, right? So products and services are kind of the engine of growth all around the world, right? So if you think of information, so Google essentially collects tons of information, right? And they're able to monetize that. So they create something. And what happens is we need to show kids and ultimately the society at large that they can, one, create content, create products and services that we can sell internally as well as externally. And then the second and the more important part, I think, is that the principles of innovation you can use these principles to solve big, complicated problems, right? So I've been back recently, the last 5 days or so, and I keep hearing about all the challenges that the country faces, Tobago specifically, and Trinidad and Tobago as a whole. And there's some really specific principles that can be used to solve some of these big problems in a way that I think we haven't taken advantage of.
Yeah, and it is an initiative that I'm sure we'd hear more about. Renzel Dillon, Innovation Manager, Colgate Palmolive, and Joseph Frederick, Nerds International. Thank you both very much for joining us and telling us about Ideation Workshop. And when the new date is found, we would definitely let people know so that they can check that out. But for now, we go back over to Carrie, and we are going to get into Therapy Works.